Hi guys, I'm Natalie Hernandez and I'm a student at Montrose High School. I'm a senior this year. I'm going to be talking about my internship, the project that I worked on my internship, what I gained, the fun I had in Houston because it's not all about the work, it's a fun experience, and why you guys should do Pinhead. So my internship, I worked at the chemistry department at the University of Houston. I worked with Professor Baldelli. He's the man on the far right, and the summer was super fun with him, and I'm really grateful that he took me in. So essentially my project was creating a microscope that comes in at an angle, an effective microscope, because the ones that we have don't work as great as possible. So essentially we need this for things like SFG spectroscopy, ellipsometry, which Ben worked on with a little bit, I believe, and finding Brewster angles of certain things. I won't get into depth with those things, but the issue we had was that at certain objects we can't look at them perpendicularly like you would with a normal microscope because there is an obstruction in the way or other issues that occur that won't let us see the actual thing perpendicularly. And this is what a regular microscope would give you. So essentially the issue was that when we came at an angle, our object was distorted like the far right. So we added a diffraction grating to our microscope, and this helped the distortion be cleared. So a diffraction grating is essentially a square of metal, super expensive metal. It was really scary to work with it. I was terrified because it's like over $3,000 for like a tiny little block. And it has a bunch of little cuts in it, and it essentially just reiterates the image to where it is not distorted. And then I worked and then the second issue was that it was low resolution, meaning that it came out as one image instead of the two clear images. So we added objectives to clear up the image, and that's kind of how every microscope works, so that's pretty basic. So we worked with a basic setup. The basic setup was just the microscope, a regular microscope that you see in everyday life, came in perpendicularly, and that's this setup. The second setup we had was a relay setup. We did not set this up because it wouldn't give us an image. It's essentially what we're adding to the basic microscope, so then our microscope can come in at an angle. And our complete setup is this. So essentially we added a basic setup at an angle, and then it would go off of the diffraction grating into a relay setup into the camera, which would then capture the image. But it was a lot more than just that. Learning a lot was super cool, but obviously I gained a lot of independence. I was in a dorm with 3 other girls. Bless their hearts, they were the best people there. They were super sweet, and I learned a lot about their culture as well because, you know, they learned about mine being a Hispanic person and them being Chinese, all 3 of them. They taught me a lot, and it was super cool. I also got real life work experience, you know, being there from 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. until you were done completely with your work. And then meeting people, you know, Pinhead is a great program where you get to meet people, and even meeting people at Houston, and even coming back to the cocktails, I forgot what it's called, the cocktails, Science of Cocktails, yeah. I met some more people there when I talked about my internship, and that was super cool because it gave me some more opportunities as well. And also just gaining confidence. I mean, knowing more than the average high school student is always cool. And then obviously the knowledge I gained from the lab. I also had a lot of fun in Houston. We got to explore the big city. I'm from Montrose. I was born and raised there, and the only time I travel is when I have soccer, so I never really get to visit places very often. So getting to visit a big city was super cool to me. We also got to visit museums, and it may sound dorky, but I love museums, so I enjoyed that a lot. I also love seafood, and Houston is a really great place for seafood because it's right by the Gulf, so it was super yummy, super great food. Why you guys should do Pinhead. Pinhead is super cool. It's personalized for what you want, so they're not going to give you a random internship. It's going to be personalized to what you want and what you want to do in the future. So that's really cool. You also gain a lot of experience, you know, contacts, all that stuff is super cool to have at a young age, especially now. And then it's also cost-free to you guys. So money is not the problem. Money should be the last thing you guys are worried about in this situation. And Pinhead is super easy to work with. You know, I remember my parents were super worried about sending me to my internship because I'm their oldest daughter. So Sarah made it super easy for them to feel a bit more comfortable about it. We met for food and we had dinner together, and they're just super nice to work with, and they make the whole process super easy and pain-free. And you're always going to be one step ahead. Having this on your resume is super great. And it was just a really good, productive summer. A big thanks to the Pinhead Institute, Sarah, the University of Houston, and my colleagues there, as well as Professor Baldelli and my RA that took care of me, and the Welch program kids, which were also programmed there. But yeah.